Okay, good morning, everybody. Before I call to order, we're going to have Janelle do a roll call, and I think there's a quorum. I saw five. So, Janelle, would you like to do the roll call, please?
Sure. Commissioner Bookland,
Here.
Commissioner Clark is excused. Commissioner Eskridge,
Here.
Commissioner Freeze,
Here.
Commissioner Havel,
Here.
Commissioner Meyer is excused. Commissioner Murphy, I believe, is not with us. Commissioner Rummel, I believe, is not with us. Commissioner Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you. We do have five, Commissioner Havel.
Okay, thank you, Janelle. So we'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to all of our guests. And then, Janelle, could you go through the virtual meeting guidance, please?
Certainly. Good morning, commissioners, members of the public, and staff. To help us have a smooth meeting, I'm going to review just a few decorum rules for all. Number one, while the commission and staff are in person, we're still offering a Zoom option so members of the public can attend. If you're attending virtually and you'd like to speak, please do so by messaging the host. As a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and streamed live on YouTube. And finally, for all those who have a speaking part today, please make sure you state your name before speaking. With that, those are the decorum rules for today, and let's have a great meeting, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Janelle. Bill, we've got announcements, and we're going to read the proclamation for Randy Conway, congratulating him on years of service.
That is correct. I don't have any announcements, so I will go right into the proclamation. As you noted, this is to give gratitude to Randy for his years of service at the district. Randy has served the district for 17 years, from December 2006 to his retirement this month. During that career, he began as a relief operator and progressed to ending as senior journeyman electrician. Randy has made countless contributions to the district by supporting the electrical group with his operations knowledge, using his proficiency with conduit bending and installation while completing district work, and training other electricians, and maintaining an attention to detail and pride in making sure every job is done to a high standard. He has additionally served on the district handbook committee and been a longstanding member of the Joint Apprenticeship Training Committee. Randy's dedication to his work has benefited the district in serving as a reliable resource for mentoring new staff, taking on tough challenges, and personally growing to meet the district's needs. He served the district's mission of protecting public health and the environment with his dedication to his daily work. So the commission is going to resolve to offer sincere gratitude to Randy Conway for his 17 years of service to the Madison Metropolitan Sewerage District, and to wish him the best in the future, whatever it may bring him professionally and personally.
Okay, thank you, Bill, and thank you very much for your 19 years of service, Randy. It's much appreciated. Sounds like you were involved in a number of varied aspects of the district operation. So congratulations and enjoy your retirement or any other job you choose to take on. Okay, let's see. Any appearances by the public? Any appearances by the public? I don't see anybody raising any hands, so we'll move on. We've got the consent calendar. We got several items. We've got the approval of the minutes from the January 25th meeting, approval of cash statement capital fund, review and approval of sanitary sewer extension plans. There's 4 new construction and 1 reconstruction. Authorize agreement of managed services contract with Sewer AI. That's televising, I think, and then approved transaction amount contracted cleaning services. Do we have any questions on any of the items before we get a motion? Okay, seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
It's Wilson, and I'll move approval of the items on the consent calendar.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by
Commissioner Bookland. I'll second.
Commissioner Bookland. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Marcia, you have your hand up. You have a question? Oh, it's down. Okay. Okay, motion carries. That will take us to topics, which there are none. So we'll move to the executive director's report. Bill, do you have anything to report to us?
I do. I have one thing, and I will do my best to fill the time, and you can help me. I need to give you some advance warning that the cost of the capital program is going to go up, probably. And the reason for this, you may have heard about it, is that the Wisconsin DNR Clean Water Fund loan program is oversubscribed in 2024. We and the rest of the state learned about this officially last Monday. It's not really clear what the reasons are, but the speculation is that there may be two factors. One of them is that Buy American requirements are coming into effect middle of this year. And the guess is that communities are trying to get in under that wire so that they can avoid the additional regulatory cost and delays that seem to be likely with that requirement. The other speculation is that municipalities are clearing out a backlog of projects that had slowed down during COVID-19 and the supply chain. But whatever the reason is, there will probably not be enough money to go around in 2004. It's not clear what the situation will be in 2025. So the district has roughly $30 million worth of planned spending in 2024 that we, as it appears now, will not be able to get Clean Water Fund financing for. And that leaves us with two options, a very bad one, which is to delay projects, and a not perfect but better one, which is to issue our own bonds. Apparently, the last time we did this was 1983. I didn't verify that for myself, but that's what I've heard. So the impact of issuing our own bonds, of course, would be a higher interest rate. The Clean Water Fund program subsidized rate now is 2.145%. We, of course, don't know what kind of rate we would get when we went to the market, but very roughly guessing somewhere range of 3 to 5%. So that's a fairly large increase. What we're doing right now, my team is leading this. We are starting the process to bring on board a financial advisory firm, which would handle the issue or issues and would give us advice on kind of optimal financing mix. So that's going to be some kind of an RFP procurement process. We're just starting that now. We're going to be in contact with some firms to get a sense of how this market works. That will probably realistically take several months. And then our understanding from what we've learned so far is that bond issuance is another 3 or more months after that. So there's some pressure here for us to get this resolved in time to keep these projects going. You'll next see this again for sure for transaction approval for hiring that firm. And if anything changes, we'll of course be back before then. Questions on that or thoughts?
Anybody have any questions? Greg?
Morning, Bill. Okay, so I have a bunch of questions. So from the timeline, so this is for the 2024 expenditures, right? That you're talking about, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And from the timeline you're laying out here, it sounded like by the time you do an RFP, get them on board, figure out, I mean, I totally recognize if you haven't done this in close to 40 years, right? We got to kind of relearn this process, right? And then go out, do the bonds. It feels to me like that's 6 months. You're not going to have that for at least 6 months-ish.
Good guess. Yes.
So that puts us, roughly at September at that point. So would it be the goal here? So we're not going to get everything constructed in 2024. Would the goal be to get it encumbered maybe the word I would use in my budgeting world, right? I want to take those funds and I want to encumber them. I'm not going to complete the projects in 24, right? If you're not starting to work until September at the earliest, you see where I'm going with this. I'm wondering if we think the funds are going to be before you answer that question, I'll ask my second question. Since there's going to be a shortage of funds, has the DNR decided how they're going to distribute the funds that are available? In other words, do you all get a piece of the pie, or are they like cutting people out completely?
I can answer the second one, which may address the first one. DNR is still using the same project prioritization process, and I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but basically they rank projects by their contribution to, clean water goals and regionalization and so on. And we typically score very well on that. But so they're not going to prorate funds. They're just going to go through their normal ranking process. There is still a possibility that we will be able to get the projects in question funded in 2024. We don't know yet.
When, as a follow-up, when does that decision get made, Bill, by the DNR?
Project by project. So typically, so the Clean Water Fund program is a reimbursement program. And the typical schedule is you begin design before you've applied for a loan. Previously, you would put an intent to apply so the DNR is aware that your project is coming. But you typically don't actually apply for the loan until you're ready to begin construction. We're speeding that up a little bit, as are a lot of other municipalities, but it's at that point where it's clear whether funding will actually come through or not. This has never been an issue before. The program has always had sufficient revenue for state needs, and I think this is catching a lot of people off guard.
Sarah, go ahead.
Bill, I just want you to repeat yourself because I'm not sure I caught it. The gap that we're anticipating, can you restate that?
There is roughly $30 million of spending that we anticipate in 2024 that we're not certain we will be able to finance with Clean Water Fund loans.
Okay, thank you.
And the reason the roughly is there is it depends on the pace of spending.
Right.
My point earlier that the program is a reimbursement program. You spend, you tell the DNR what you spent that month, you get a reimbursement. So there's a sort of pace, and if projects went faster or slower, that dollar amount would change.
Yep, thank you.
So we're going to be bidding projects as usual, and then we cover the cost until we get the reimbursement?
We are going to be discussing internally whether to bid any particular projects as usual. This is a very urgent discussion inside because we want to figure out what kind of risk is acceptable here, given the uncertainty of reimbursement.
Yeah. Has there been a thought about doing construction loans, that tie us over for you to do the construction project with like a short-term loan? And then is that then viable for Clean Water Fund?
We've done just a little bit of research on, we've done a little bit of research on that. The advice we've gotten so far is that it's probably not a good idea or not a useful idea for us. But again, that's another thing that a financial firm can really address. What is the optimal mix?
Okay. Alderman or Commissioner Rommel?
Thank you, Chair. And maybe Greg knows it is raising his hand to mention this idea I have, but the city, issues its own bonds all the time, and so we work with these firms. So it might be worth a call to the city finance department just to see what, their experience has been, if they have a range of different entities that help them or, that kind of thing.
Yes, thanks. On our list.
Not surprised.
Okay, Commissioner Freeze, you have your hand up again, Greg.
Bill, thank you. One of your other answers clarified why my first question that I saw you had a perplexed look on your face.
Right.
Made you like, what is Freeze talking about? Okay, so now I understand because of the reimbursement part. So my question now is it your intent to not bid capital projects until you have this financial firm on board and you can firm up, right? Otherwise, the question I have, right, is if you bid something and we don't know how we're paying for it with cash, but we expected to get a loan or a bond, but you see what I'm getting here. You're kind of betting, yeah, so.
Well, I mean, I guess the main comment is that is precisely the right question. But the way we're going to approach it is kind of a case by case basis, because the other factor is the Clean Water Fund, or excuse me, our capital projects fund has a balance in it, which we can use to burn down. So what we're really trying to do is make sure that we have additional financing in time before that balance is used up. And we have to basically forecast that burn down rate and our ability to get additional funding and make sure that those are safely aligned. And of course, another factor is some projects are more amenable to delay than others. There are some are under more, just driven need. There may be easement concerns. We're trying to put together a whole mix of managing them all as a set based on the various factors that are in play.
Okay. Michael had given me a heads up on Monday when we talked. And one of my comments was that maybe our decision to move to, instead of one really big project all tied together, that maybe the smaller projects are helping us, because we can kind of put the ones forward that may need more consideration of outside, out of nation resources,
As opposed to doing the very large additions that we used to do, which
yeah,
it may.
We can mix and match stuff better, right?
Yeah, I like the principle. My hesitancy is in the practice, because we're spending, even though they're smaller projects, we're moving a lot of money through at the same time.
Oh, yeah, I understand that.
But certainly if we were trying to fund a gigantic addition right now, it would feel like a lot more jeopardy.
I guess, here we may have the chance to get some projects funded, maybe not all 30 million, but we might get 15, 20, maybe 10, I don't know. But whereas with a big project, if you've got $100 million project or a $50 million police station like Fitchburg has, which wouldn't qualify anyway, but that's a lot of bonds. Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to get too much into this because it's not on the agenda.
Not on the
So
agenda.
anybody else have anything? Okay. Is that it, Bill?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. And we'll move on to Paul with the regulatory and legal.
Well, good morning. And I've also been in touch with Bill and Michael on this, and will continue to kind of monitor. I guess my hope is that this may be, a big, kind of it's the snake that's eaten the donkey. And once this initial, thing goes through, maybe things will even back out. But I think we're just going to have to kind of continue to monitor at DNR exactly where that fund is. And if there's anything we can do legislatively, we're going to be in touch with the other wastewater communities to see if there needs to be any kind of legislative changes that might help this, or other kinds of things. So we're going to try and look at it from that angle
I'm going to jump back in for a moment, because that reminds me of a point I forgot to make. Just so you are aware, Michael has been meeting regularly with Tom Sigmund of Green Bay and Kevin Schaefer of Milwaukee and DNR, even before this was an issue, to sort of keep the lines of communication going and understand the impacts of BABA. And they're going to continue to do that, including looking for possibilities of increasing funding for the program if needed.
Yep. So on the legislative front, ironically enough, the I&I bill, which was making I&I projects eligible for clean water funds, passed the assembly and is now on the governor's desk. So this is good news because our I&I efforts, both here at the district and around the state, will be eligible for clean water funds. Bad news, of course, is it's adding some additional projects to a fund that up to now hadn't been a problem, but now obviously has some challenges. I do not know if I haven't talked to the folks at the department, whether this recent change in the Clean Water Fund status will impact whether the governor signs the bill or not, but it's something we'll continue to watch, but that's on his desk. And I think Vanessa reported that last time that the urban towns bill that we were concerned about from the standpoint of requiring sewer extensions has been modified so that the sewer and water provisions of that bill have been taken out. I'm not sure what else is going to happen with that bill, but at least for now, those provisions are no longer in play. The other two kind of legislative matters, the PFAS and the de-icer bill, are still pending, which is a little troublesome in as much as we are now, believe it or not, down to the final days of this legislative session. The Assembly and Senate are going to meet through this month, which is only a couple of weeks, maybe the first week in March, and then they're gone, and they don't come back again until next year. So if these things don't get passed and resolved in the next few weeks, that will be it until 25. So we're going to be watching those carefully. So that's all I have on that front, but I'd be glad to entertain any questions.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Anybody have any questions for Paul? I don't see any hands up, so thank you very much, Paul. Okay, that will take us to the future meeting schedule. That's in the packet. And so the next few meetings, I believe, are all virtual. Like, was it March or April is our next in-person? I can't remember, but we'll give it heads up on that. Any future agenda topics? Any other business? And Tom?
I'll move we adjourn. Great job, President Hubble.
Thank you, Tom. Motion by Commissioner Wilson. Do we have a second?
I'll second it, Murphy.
Second by Commissioner Murphy. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy this
Yep.
day.
See you all
Time to go
next
shovel
time.
snow.
See you in a couple of
Bye.
weeks.